Ever feel like you're running out of time? Ever feel like you're doing all that you're supposed to do and things still don't seem to be going your way? Ever feel like you're following all the health rules, but you're not even sure where the finish line is? Well, like you're doing all the things. You're working harder. You're eating cleaner. You are exercising more, yet somehow you feel tired, drained, maybe even a little resentful of the process. That's the hustle mindset. And in health, just like in life, the hustle can burn you out long before it builds you up. Tonight, we're going to talk about how to opt out of hustle. Not by quitting, not by giving up, but by redefining progress in a way that actually supports your health. Whether that's physically, emotionally, mentally, metabolically. This is episode 4 in our Play Your Game series. And if the first 3 episodes were about taking back your rules and redefining what winning really means, this one is about making sure that the way you're playing the game is sustainable. So stay tuned. Hang out here. We're going to be talking about how you reclaim your health, because if the game burns you out, you're not playing your game at all. You're playing somebody else's game. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E if you're new to me. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We are creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. Yeah. If you are new to me, go ahead and put new in the comments, because we'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music. And let you know that we are glad that you are here. If you have comments, if you have questions, go ahead and drop those down into the comments, and make sure you put a Q in front of that question, because we want to make sure that we get to that for you. We'll say hi to our community members here in just a little while as we get more into our discussion, and also talk about what's been going on with me as we take a look at blood sugars over the last several days. So hang out. We got some good stuff going on. And if you've not been working with us, if you've not been following the channel, you may notice some things when you get back there. You'll see that we've kind of streamlined, we have streamlined the process for you to make it simpler for you to do the things and to jump in and work with us. So when you get to the YouTube channel, you'll notice that there are some simpler views that you will see there. In fact, we've taken all of the videos off of that main site, and they're still there, by the way. They're still there. Don't think that they've gone, but all the videos are still there. But what we've done is we've streamlined the process so we can make it much simpler for you when you show up to jump in and to become a part of what we're doing. So when you get to the website or the channel, when you get to the YouTube channel, you'll see some simple things. Right now, of course, this is the show that we're on right now, Avoiding Burnout. But if you look down, you'll see a playlist that says Start Here. And the Start Here playlist is with the idea of allowing you to walk through the journey that we teach here on the channel. If you're interested in what we talk about, how we do what we do, how we talk about reversing diabetes and improving our health and all those pillars, those are all outlined here in the Start Here playlist. If you go into the description of the playlist, you'll find there a link that allows you to download a free PDF that walks you through the video set and helps you to understand what it is you should be learning from each section of the videos. And there are 4, starting with the vision, understanding what's really going on, mastering the tools that actually work, and then putting it all together. So get to the website and you'll see that. The second playlist that you will see is one that says this week's videos. So all the videos that we do for a particular week, for instance, this week's videos are all going to be in that list. So when you come, if you say, hey, what are they doing this week? What's the what is the topic for this week? What's been going on in the community for this week? You can stop right there and you'll see all of those videos. Right now, there are 2 videos. These are the 2 videos that are part of our Strength, Strategy, and Mindset series that's currently going on. And this video that we're watching right now will show up as the next one. And then as we do our check-ins over the course of the rest of the week, you'll see those will show up here as well. If you go to DwainWoodeMD.com, that is our website. You will see that that is also simplified with this same idea. So first of all, I love this video view that you see there when you get to the website. It says Limitless Living, powered by the new you. Remember, this the new us that drives everything. Reclaim your rhythm, redefine your life. Welcome to Limitless Living, transforming health, mindset, and identity, one intentional step at a time. And it shows a guy standing on top of the mountain with a panoramic view as the video turns, because he's realizing for the first time, maybe in a long time, or the first time in his life, that the limits that are in him or in his life are limits that perhaps he's placed on himself or that the world has placed on him. But right now he's realizing that he has unlimited potential. And that's the idea there when you get to that website. There's a welcome message that's there for me, a video, and then you'll see, similar to what I showed you before, there is a start watching videos that will take you to the same playlist that allows you to walk through the pathway that we've been on, and then over here, download your guide. Okay, download your guide. And so if you've not been to the website, if you've not been to the YouTube channel to kind of peruse, that is what I want you to do. And it allows you to see what's been going on in the community. All right. And so let's go ahead and let's take a look at blood sugars right now. And let me get rid of this one and get back to... All right, so we're going to take a look at what's been going on with my blood sugars over the course of the last few days. And first, let's take a look at, this is my Freestyle Libre. You see my blood sugar right there is 90 right now, and 90 with an arrow going straight across. That is that it's steady right now. Here, you'll see what my blood sugars have been running over the last 12 hours. And I can actually put my finger on that graph, and you'll see the blood sugars right in this area. You see they're changing. So we've been in the 90s, low 90s, upper 90s to low 100s over the course of the last 12 hours. Okay, so there you are right there. If I go to the reports, or insights as they call them, and there's the reports, let's go and see what my time in range has been. And you'll see their time in range is 89%, with 11%, an additional 11% actually being low blood sugars. Okay, so taking the lows and the time in range, then we are in range or low 100% of the time. If we go to the 90-day view, you say 87, which is pretty similar to what we saw there. Okay, getting out of that, and let's go and see what my average blood sugars have been. And so my average will show up right in this area. Oops, yeah, right there. So 88 is the average, and over the course of 90 days, 88. And down here you'll see, and what I like about this is it breaks it up. You can see what the averages have been over different times of the day, right? So 12 midnight to 6 a.m., 6 a.m. to 12 noon, 12 noon to 6 p.m., and 6 p.m. to midnight again. And so I love that visual. And then let's go ahead and let's take a look and see what my Dexcom. So Dexcom right now says that my average blood sugar is 128. And then down here, an interesting thing happened to me today. You'll see 24, this is a 24-hour period. And if you go ahead and we're going to put my finger there and I'll start scrolling through. And you see, according to Dexcom, we've been in the low 100s, popping up 120s. I think I saw 140 or something there, and popping up. And then right about here, this was some about 2 o'clock this morning, my blood sugars went up, right? Look at that, up to 190s. and kept climbing, kept climbing, kept climbing, kept climbing. This is now 7 o'clock in the morning. This is 9 o'clock this morning, and then it started coming down. And I'm looking through the numbers, and I'm double checking with the Libre. So let's go back to the Libre for a minute. And I'm double checking with the Libre, and let's see, what time was that? 7 o'clock. And so I'm in here, and I was like, well, this doesn't seem right. I know the Dexcom tends to be higher, but we're talking about 90 points higher than what the Libre is saying. So I went and I checked my blood sugar on one of the meters in the office. And let's see, I took a picture of that. Let's see, there it is. So when I checked the blood sugar with meter in the office, and so the meter in the office coincided with what the Libre was saying, and it didn't make sense to me why the Dexcom was there. And so I went and I changed. Well, I'm going to show you those pictures. Let's see, let's go back here. So I went and I took, this is what the Libre was saying at the time. So Dexcom was, the meter in the office was saying that, hey, it is 94. The Libre was saying 94. And the Dexcom at the time was saying 202. And so, well, this doesn't make any sense. So I went and I changed the Dexcom, put on a new one, and then, let's see, let's get back over here for a second. And when I put it on, right, so right in here, actually, let me do it. I'm going to do a 6 hour so we can see that a little, well, maybe 12 hours. So right there was where it was when I changed it, and it says 207, or right about 200. And then a half an hour later, after the Dexcom, I put on a new one, it was a 101. So it dropped by almost 100 points. So I'm not sure what happened to that particular one that I had, but it was giving error. So I changed it, and so here we are right now with what it's saying at 128. Okay, all right. So what happened? I don't know. I'm not sure what happened there. All right, so let's go ahead now and let's take a look at my monitors. And so I've got a Keto Mojo, and I have a Contour, and the Contour is just like the one we do in the office. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a strip. All right, so for the Contour. Now, I usually do my glucose and ketones, and because I wasn't paying attention, I don't have any ketone strips. I have, yeah. I don't have it here. So we'll see what my monitors are showing for blood sugars, but we won't be able to see the ketones, but we'll do those again as we get later in the week. All right, so let's go ahead and for the Contour, we'll see what my blood sugar is there, and open this up for blood sugar for the Keto Mojo. And back into our container so I can grab a Lancet, and I'll take 2 out just in case. And as you know, I don't use a Lansing device, so I'm just here, I'm gonna grab a finger, and I usually use this one right here. So poke, 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 ow, ow, ow. Okay, and let's make sure that, okay, we got a good drop, a brisk drop actually. And get that going. And get that going, and let's see what, so 90, and let's go back here. So 97 is what the Keto Mojo says, and 98 is what the Contour says. And you'll see here, the Dexcom is saying 130, so about 30, a little over 30 points higher. And then let's go over to the Libre. So the Libre is closer to what these guys, so about 3 or 4 points off. So for some reason, my Dexcom, and I shouldn't say for some reason, so the Dexcom tends to read a little higher than the Libre. Today, it was much more off than anticipated. Okay, and you'll recall several weeks ago something similar happened, and I had to change my Dexcom as well. So, all right. All right, so let's go ahead and now let's take a look and see what's been going on with my blood sugars. And I'm looking at my, this is my Dexcom Clarity Report. See if I can get this off. Hold on a second. All right, you guys hear all that beeping. So there's a watch, not the one that I have on. I think I have another watch over there. All right, and so okay, and so here you see what my this is what my average blood sugar is for the last 14 days, 121, and I'm in target 96% of the time. Target being anywhere from 70 to 180. And my glucose management indicator is 6.2. So I had my doctor's visit on Friday, and I've got exciting. I'm not going to tell you what it is now, right? So pay attention this week. You'll hear about it. Excited news of what my A1C was. So I was very excited, very happy about that. All right. So now if I go to 90. This is my 90-day average of 121, and we usually tell people we want their average blood sugar to be between 100 and 120. 6.2 was the GMI, with blood sugars 96 are in range 96% of the time. If I go over here and go to the views for the day, and you'll see this is where we are right now. 126 is what the Dexcom is saying. 120s, 120s, 120s. Here's where we changed the monitor. So we were 101 when it came back. Before we changed it, it was 202. So look at that, 101 points off. And here is where we had that stretch. So that, and I let this go. That's 12 noon. So we know when I woke up this morning, it was high, and I said, well, sure, maybe something happened overnight. Maybe I slept on it wrong. And I left it and didn't really pay attention to it. But the more I paid attention as I went through the morning, I was like, wait a minute, something is not right here. And so that's when I went to check with the other monitor. And yeah, it was 100 points off. But anyway, going backwards over the course of the rest of the early morning from midnight last night. And look at that. It was actually doing fairly well. And I'm not sure what happened right here about 2:30 or 2:15, and then that popped up. So going backwards into, let's get rid of this thing. Going backwards into the weekend, so the midnight last night, 120s, 108s. So low maybe got up to the mid 100s. But for the most part, in the 120s, 130s, I saw 140 there occasionally. Right, and all this time, the Libre is actually in like the 90s to 110s maybe. And so 150s, 140s, 108, and 120s, 120s. And now coming into Friday, and you recall Friday is when we broke our fast, and we broke our fast right here. If you didn't see that episode where where you saw what I ate for the first time after 72 hours, go back and watch that. And so then now let's watch the blood sugars following that, right? So broke the fast there, and then blood sugars went up to, so it was like what, 90s, up to the low 100s, up maybe to the mid 100s, up to 150. 150, 160, 140, right, 165, look at 166, looks like it's the highest that it got, and then started coming back down, and then what we just saw into the next morning in the low 100s. Okay, and so whenever we talk about fasting and food that we eat, that's the idea, that we're not getting huge spikes in the blood sugar, and if we do, that those are coming down relatively quickly. All right, so now let's go ahead and let's say hello to some of our community members. I see you out there, and let's see. So I see Pam. Hello, Pamela. How are you? Pamela's saying hi. Let's get that over. Pam says hi, and Bowie says hi to Pam. Hi, Bowie from Pam. Bowie says, should I be concerned with fasting while on metformin? That's actually a very good question. And let's take time to answer that right now, Bowie. So first of all, let me preface this by saying that anytime you are talking about adjusting medication or talking about anything that can impact how the medication works, such as fasting, you want to make sure that you're touching base with your healthcare provider. Okay. So with that as a backdrop, so make sure you're touching base with your healthcare provider, because we want you to be safe, we want you to be healthy, and we want you to move along this process with us, but under supervision. So that's the first thing. Whenever we are talking about medications that have the potential for lowering blood sugar, then there is the potential when we add fasting to that our blood sugar goes down, right? Because the idea of fasting is that the blood sugars are going down, and as the blood sugars go down, insulin goes down, of course. So decreasing the possibility of low blood sugars, but you still can have low blood sugars. Now, metformin is one of those where it does not have a significant hypoglycemia profile. There are other medications like the sulfonylureas, insulin itself, of course, and even the DPP-4s, which are forcing your body to make insulin, or you're actually taking insulin. So the likelihood of going low with those is much higher. Metformin is one that's relatively benign as it comes to hypoglycemia, but you can still have it. And so as you're thinking about fasting, it's not that you can't fast, but you should touch base with your healthcare provider, and you need to monitor your blood sugar. That's one of the reasons I'm a big proponent of monitoring, because as you're making changes, whether to food, exercise, sleep, and medication in this case, then you're able to see what the medication is doing to your body and to your blood sugar. Okay. Having said that, there are when I was on medication, and you recall, not this September, 2 Septembers ago was when I came off my insulin. And at the time, I was fasting, right, on insulin, but I had been talking with my healthcare provider, and we were decreasing the insulin as my body became more regulated, and I didn't need as much insulin. So with all medications, remember, their job is to lower blood sugar. So if you are having low blood sugar while you're fasting, don't think there's something wrong. That is actually what we want, but we don't want you to be on medication that's also doing that. So you have to cut it. And for my patients, I kind of walk them through what the process is going to be in terms of decreasing medication. If you have not done so, we did a show. Oh, wow. We did a show last season where we talked about how to adjust medication. So if anybody's out there, if you can find that, and it was I think it was maybe the second or third show for the season on how to adjust medication. If you can find that and just drop that in the chat for me, that would be great. All right, and so I hope that answers your question, Bowie, about the metformin. Steve says hello. Hello, friends, from Steve. Hello, Steve. And Steve said, hi, Pam. And hi, Steve from Bowie. Awesome. So that very good question, by the way. I love that question. And that same answer goes across the board for any diabetes medication that you're on. That same answer will suffice. Always checking with your healthcare provider. The fasting is supposed to do the same thing as the medication, which is why we say that we want to get off of medication, because if I can fast and do it without being on medication, hey, why not do that? Okay, but we always want to adjust what we're doing. Okay, but let's see what else. So that's kind of our discussion, and let's go ahead and let's hop into what we're going to talk about tonight as we continue our discussion about playing your own game and what that means. So let's hop over and let's do that right now. So we're talking about playing your own game. And in our discussion, we've talked about reclaiming the rules, redefining what winning really means, and learning what it means to play your own game. But here's the truth. Even with your own rules, even with the things that we've set up, you can still burn yourself out if you are running the wrong race. And so what we want to do here is we want to show you how to opt out of that hustle, not by slowing down in defeat, but by shifting to a pace that fuels you instead of drains you, right? Because we can get into this process, and we'll talk more about it, where we are running on 100 all the time and not allowing ourselves the possibility of recovery. So we're going to look at why the hustle mindset can sabotage your health, what science says about stress and recovery, and how to build a framework that lets the process and the progress go without you burning out. So if you've ever thought, I'm doing everything right now, but I'm exhausted, this is the conversation that you've been waiting for. So the premise of opting out of the hustle and redefining progress without burnout is that many people in their health journey unconsciously adopt the hustle mindset. They're constantly pushing, they're stacking more actions and more measures and more metrics of success only by, and they're recording that and they're measuring only by high output and rapid results. And so while hustle can produce short-term wins, it almost always leads to burnout, metabolic stress, and ironically, it leads to stalled progress. So people will say to me, I don't understand what's going on. It seems like I've plateaued. And the core idea here is that sustainable health, the progress that you get, comes from pacing yourself in alignment with your body's natural rhythms, aligning it with your life, with the domains of your health, not by forcing the constant grind and not by pushing all the time. Okay? So let's talk about the hustle in health. Hustle in health. When most people hear this concept of hustle, right? They picture career. They picture the grind. Late nights, endless meetings, answering emails before you ever brush your teeth. It's all about less sleep with more mental power to do so much more. How do I fit one more thing into my lists? One more thing into my day? One more thing on my check boxes? That's what most people think about. But here's the thing. Hustle doesn't just live in your job. It lives right here. It can sneak into your health journey. And when it does, it's dangerous because it looks like this, right? You're overtraining. You're at the gym. 0 recovery days between the times when you go to the gym. You think more is always better. You're stacking diets on top of diets, adding another restriction every time you don't see immediate results. You're waking up earlier and earlier to get more in. You're squeezing more workouts, more meal preps, more meditation, more yoga, all while cutting your sleep shorter and shorter and shorter. And you know what that looks like? Well, yeah, you look disciplined. People may even compliment you and say, man, I wish I could be like you. But here's the truth. Your body knows the difference between training and draining. Oh, yeah, it does. And the body will tell you that, hey, this is not what we want. This is not how we roll. This is not where we need to be. This is not how things need to go. And there is actually science behind this. There is science. So when your body is in a constant go mode, it doesn't interpret that as ambition. I want you to listen. When it's in a constant go mode, it doesn't say, hey, this person is ambitious. They're really pushing. They're really trying to, right? It sees it as a stress. It's a survival stress. Your brain sends a signal to your adrenals to pump out cortisol. Remember, cortisol is one of the stress hormones. So epinephrine gets your body ready to do the job, and cortisol goes and gets energy. And energy in the body is called what? That's right, it's called sugar. So cortisol comes out. That's your main stress hormone. And when cortisol stays high, insulin levels have to come out. And so your body becomes more insulin resistant. It makes it harder for your body to use glucose for energy. It makes it easier for it to store it. So weight goes up. Appetite regulation breaks down. So ghrelin, the hunger hormone, it ramps up because your body says, I need more energy. So go find me some food. So you start craving. Satiety hormone, leptin, goes down. It becomes quiet because after all, we need to go get some food so we can survive. Fat storage shifts to the midsection, and so we get this thing right here. And people say, hey, I'm not eating any differently. No, you're not, but that stress says, hey, I'm going to store it. This area right here is more tied to metabolic risk because this area, these fat cells are not just quiet. Here's the kicker. The constant stress, that constant stress state can stall your progress. Even if your diet is perfect, even if your workout is intense. So if you've ever plateaued, right, you're going along and while doing everything, and you think you're doing everything right, it may not be that you're doing it wrong. It may be that your body simply is saying, hey, white flag. Let me tell you a story. I once worked with a woman, and we'll call her Lisa. Lisa gets everything. She came to me frustrated, and she was on the eating plan. She was fasting for long stretches. She was doing 2-a-day workouts, right? So morning she gets up, she walked. In the evening she does strength training. She had every supplement you could possibly think of, every fitness tracker, every alarm to remind her to drink water, to breathe, to stretch, all the things that we talk about. But instead of getting stronger or leaner, she was exhausted. Her sleep was broken, her cravings were wild, and her lab results looked worse than before she started. When we pulled back the curtain, the problem was clear. She was living in permanent overdrive. Her body never had time to recover. So it wasn't building anything. It was just trying to survive. How many of you have been in the place where the worry about your health has become such a problem that your mind is always going? When we reduced her workouts, we gave her a rest day, shortened the fasts, focused on quality sleep. Within weeks, her energy levels came back, her labs improved, and yes, her weight started moving in the direction she wanted. So Lisa didn't fall because she wasn't trying hard enough. She didn't succeed because she was trying too hard without space for recovery. When we talk about the Limitless Living Health Action Plan, one of the major pillars is rest and restoration. It has to be there. That's why it's pivotal when we talk about the plan, because you have to have time for rest and restoration. Here's the bottom line. The hustle mindset might make you feel like you're getting ahead, but biochemically and biologically, it's often pulling you backwards. So if hustle can actually hold you back, what's the alternative? Because that's what we are told. Well, it's not about doing less for the sake of laziness. It's about doing the right thing in the right rhythm, because your body isn't built for constant push. It's built for cycles of push and pause and stress and recovery. And when you lean in and when you learn to live in that rhythm, you don't just avoid burnout. You unlock the very progress that hustle was supposed to be delivering in the first place, but it hasn't been able to do that because that's not how we roll. Well, let's go ahead and let's talk a little bit about rhythmic living versus constant grind. So here is the idea. If it feels like you are constantly going, if the hustle can actually slow your progress, what's the alternative? Right? What are we going to do? How do we get there? How do we move? How do we get into the space where we're actually doing what we need to do to be successful, if this stuff that we're doing is not it? Well, here's the thing. This isn't just a motivational talk. We're talking biology. We see rhythm in every layer of how you're wired. There's the circadian rhythm, right, that controls your sleep and wake cycle. When your hormones rise and fall, your energies naturally change. People get tired, even if you've been up, right? When night comes, you get tired. Why? Because your hormones are changing. You're in a circadian rhythm. Hormones like insulin, cortisol, growth hormone, they all have daily patterns. And when you fight those patterns by pushing without pause, you disrupt the balance. Remember? Balance. The domains of health. And that balance keeps you metabolically healthy. And if we disrupt it, So even your digestive system works best on schedule. Your gut has its own internal clock that knows when to prepare for food and when to focus on repair. The grind? The grind ignores all of this. The grind says, push harder, push longer, sleep later, recover less. But when you do that, instead of harmony, you actually get chaos. And in your sleep, in your hormones, in your metabolism, it all gets disruptive. Now let's flip that. Because when you honor those rhythms, everything changes. Sleep becomes restorative. You're not just unconscious, you're actually repairing tissues. You're consolidating memories. You're balancing hormones. Exercise. This is when we are aligned. Exercise builds instead of breaks you. Your muscles recover, your joints strengthen, and your nervous system adapts so that you can perform better next time. Nutrition. When we eat, balanced bites. Nutrition supports health healing instead of just calorie counting and calorie restriction. You're eating in a way that fuels recovery, that balances blood sugars, that gives your body the nutrients it needs, all at the same time that you are setting yourself up to push into other areas. And it can use this best when it is recovered and when it's doing well. And this is why athletes don't just train harder. They train smarter. They work in cycles. They build in recovery. They understand that adapting is important. And this happens, adaptation happens in recovery, not just in the workout. So when you step away from constant grind and step into rhythmic living, you're not slowing down, you're actually speeding up the results because you're working with your body's natural design instead of fighting against it. Yeah. That's what happens. So if your body is wired for rhythm, the real question becomes, how do you live that way in real life? Because life's interesting, to be honest, right? It's one thing to understand the science. It's quite another to fit it into your actual schedule, your commitments, your family, your work. This is where most people slip back into the hustle. Not because they want to burn out, but because they don't have a structure that helps them protect their energy while still making progress. That's why I want to give you something practical, a simple way to design your health pace so it works with you and with your body. It works with your life, and it still keeps you moving forward. It works with your family. And I call it the PACE model. The PACE model. PACE. Okay. So, and we'll talk about what PACE means here in a minute. And if you apply it, you'll not have to rely on burnout to get results again. All right, the PACE framework. So the PACE framework is designed to allow you space, to allow you to pace yourself, to allow you to pace the progress. PACE is a 4-step process, but it's more than an acronym. It's a mindset shift from focus and forcing yourself forward to building progress in a way that your body and mind and schedule can actually handle. Okay? And so PACE, P-A-C-E, stands for prioritize, align, create boundaries, and evaluate. Prioritize, align, create boundaries, and evaluate. So prioritize. Most people fail here. Let's just say it. Not because they don't try hard enough, but because they try everything at once. Have you ever had a list and you're looking at the list and people will tell you, and I remember when I first started talking about getting organized myself, and somebody said to me, okay, look at your list, look at the things you've got to do, and what I want you to do is I want you to find the top 3 things. As a matter of fact, they told me the top 1 thing. To find the top 1 thing that has to get done today. And I looked at my list, and I think there were maybe 15 things on it. I said, well, I can't do that because everything on the list has to get done today. And so most of us have that concept in mind because we want everything. We're trying to do everything. And here's the truth. If everything is important, nothing is important. So what I want you to do is I want you to pick 1 to 2 health actions that matter most right now. Not 10, not 12, just 1 that will give you the biggest return for your effort. Maybe it's your walking. Maybe it's balanced bites. Maybe it's strength training. Or maybe it's protecting your sleep. Rest and recovery, or rest and restoration. Here's the science. When we focus our effort, what we do is we trigger what's called behavioral momentum. The brain sees success faster. Dopamine reinforces the behavior, and the habits begin to stick. Neuroplasticity begins happening because we're focusing our energy on that 1 or 2 things. But when we are focusing, we're trying to focus on multiple things, then it does not work. And the brain is not putting energy into making those connections because there's no reason. Right? Number 1, we want to prioritize. Number 2, we want to align. Align. So this is where hustle people stumble. They try to force a perfect plan into an imperfect season of their life. Alignment means choosing actions that actually fit your life right now. Come on, come on. Your work schedule, your energy level, your family commitments. When we talk about fasting, I always say, well, not always, but I say often that sometimes people don't fail at fasting because fasting doesn't work. They fail at fasting because they put fasting at the wrong time. They want to do intermittent fasting, and the family sits down to eat at 6 o'clock, and they start their fast at 5. Automatically, there's friction. If you're in a season of stress at work, maybe 4 intense gym sessions a week isn't the best fit. Instead, you choose shorter, more consistent workouts that don't drain you. When your plan matches your reality, you don't fight yourself every day to make it happen. And that's how you make health a lifestyle and not a temporary spirit. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So number 2, align. And number 3, create boundaries. Create boundaries. Listen, burnout happens when your health actions compete with the rest of your life. And most of the time, if we're honest, health cannot compete with the rest of our lives because health will lose. Because everything else seems more important. In fact, we have been taught, so let me tell you a story. And this goes to this idea. I am a senior resident in my residency program. I'm the guy in charge. And at night, the residents run the code. We go code blue, patient in room, whatever. And so everybody comes running. And the person who runs the code is the chief, is the senior resident. That's me. So I'm at the hospital. Everybody else has gone home. And we're in the ER, and we were slammed. I mean, patients are coming in left and right. And my team, so I had 2 junior residents and some medical students. And so we're, so I'm okay. You go see that one. You go see that one. You go see that. When they come back, they tell me about the patient. We come up with a plan. We write the orders. We get to the next patient. Hey, come on, let's do this. Write the orders, put it down, get to the next one. And so we're slam. And I'm thinking all the time, I got to go to the bathroom. I got to go to the bathroom. And we're there, and we finally had seen the patients. And I said, okay, let's get this last order in, and we're going to go, and once we get that last order in from the ER, I'm going to the bathroom. And just as we put the orders down, here comes that thing overhead. Code blue, room 605. Code blue, room 605. Well, guess what? Who's running the code? That's me. And so we go running. And so my entire team, we show up. And of course, now, I'm giving instructions. I'm finding out what's going on with the patient. And so the nurse gives me a report. And okay, so I'm giving orders. We need to, check the blood pressure, fluids, who's his doctor, is he breathing? We went through the whole thing. And so we worked on this patient 20 minutes maybe. And we finally got to the end of the code. And we're getting ready to leave because I figured now I've been in the ER. I ran the code. The guy survived. And now I get to go to the bathroom. And I'm on my way to the bathroom. And guess what? Code blue. And sometimes I tell that story and I talk to my physician friends. And one of the questions that we ask ourselves is if as physicians, we have trained ourselves to ignore even some of those basic biological functions for everybody else. How do we tell our patients, hey, you need to do something for yourself? Because it's hard, right? Because mom is sick and you're the one who takes care of her. Your husband, your wife, they just had surgery. They can't do anything else. And so you're there for them. Maybe they have dementia. Maybe they had a stroke and you are the caretaker. You're the caregiver. Your daughter is working and she's asked you, Mom, can you come help me take care of the kids? And you're there. You have needs. You have physical needs. You have emotional needs. You have mental needs. So how do you then decide I'm going to take time for myself? But here's the thing. Here's the thing. If we don't have boundaries, then we don't have anything. There are 1,440 minutes in a day. And aside from the little sleep that we get, we give most of that time away to somebody else. Mm-hmm. But when we create boundaries, they protect our time, they protect our rest, they protect our recovery days. It's saying to your brain, it's saying to your mind, no, I am not answering emails at 9 o'clock, after 9 o'clock. I'm blocking my lunchtime walk on my calendar, so it's not negotiable. I told you in one of our check-ins that I was in a meeting recently, and we have meetings throughout the day, throughout the week. And I already give away 2 of my days to lunchtime for meetings. And another thing was coming up, and I said, no, I can't give away any more of my lunch. Not because I need to go eat, because I'm fasting for 3 days. But I need time so that my mind recovers. Science backs this up. Recovery time lowers cortisol. It improves insulin sensitivity. It boosts your body's ability to adapt and to train and to nourish itself. Remember, adaptation doesn't happen when you're grinding. It happens when you give your body space to process and to look and to feel and respond to the work that you've already done. So we prioritize, we align, we create boundaries, and then we evaluate. Pace, we evaluate. Most people only measure progress by the scale or by their blood work. And those are important because I was excited when I went to the doctor recently because hey, look at your blood work. I was like, yeah, look at that, right? So I've got the metrics. I've got it as well. They are important, but it's not the whole story. Evaluation means asking every week, am I gaining energy? Am I getting stronger? Is my mood more stable? Do I feel more in control of my choices? Limitless living. If the answer is yes, even if that scale hasn't moved, you're winning. Why? Because these are the leading indicators of long-term success. The scale will come, the blood sugar will come, the A1C will come. The scale is a lagging indicator. It responds after your behaviors have been consistent long enough to create change. People come into the office and their A1C is 14 or higher than 14 sometimes. And we make a change and say their weight is up. And then we make a change on day 1. And most people who come to my office, if you've been to my office before, you know, if you come as a new patient, I see you 2 weeks later. right? You come in, we get labs, we talk about some things. For diabetics, we send you to education. For people who have other diseases, we get imaging, we get labs. We may make a referral. We may get a biopsy. And 2 weeks later, depending on what it is, 2 to 6 weeks, usually 2, we see you back. And so 2 weeks later, the person who had the A1C of 14 comes back and their blood sugar is whatever. And let's say somebody got an A1C, which you shouldn't get because it's 90 days. Somebody gets an A1C and the A1C 2 weeks ago was 14 and today it's 12. And the person says to me, hey, how come it's 12? I'm like, it's been 2 weeks. How long did it take you to get to 14? Now, the blood sugar is better. You feel better. But that indicator hasn't changed, or it hasn't changed much. So when you pace yourself, you still move forward, but without the crash and burn, without the repeated cycle. You protect your health from becoming another hustle project. You create a way of living that allows you to play your own game and actually win at it. So here's the question. If our bodies are built for rhythm, but the grind keeps pulling us into chaos, what do we do? How do we manage that? What do we do about it? Because the reality is you can't just tell your job, your family, or your life, hey, I'm going to slow down right now. So everybody, you just kind of work around me. Life will keep coming. The demands won't stop. But you can change how you respond. You can move from reacting to directing your pace. And that's exactly what the PACE framework is all about. Putting you back in control so you can keep making progress without burning yourself out. That's PACE. So let's now jump into this idea of hustle versus health pace. What's the contrast? What's the contrast there? Let's put them side by side for a second. Because the difference between hustle and a true health pace are massive. Hustle says, push harder, no matter what your body's saying. Perfection is the only acceptable standard. Every missed workout is imperfect meal is a failure. Progress is only measured by output. How many steps? How many calories? How many this you did? How many hours you ground? How long did you fast? Rest? Oh, that's something you got to earn that. Maybe. Health Pace says, adapt your effort to your season and your capacity. When I'm out there working out with my son, there was and if you watch one of our episodes, right? So I'm doing these dumbbell presses, and so I modify them, right? So normally I go up and down, that's 1, up and down, that's 2, up and down, that's 3. So I decided I'm going to make it more intense, right? So I'm like up and down, that's 1, up and down, that's 2, up and down, and down, that's 3. Right, so what am I doing? I'm doing twice as much. And boy, because we do 3 sets of 8, and so I got through that, and I got to the last one on that on that third set. And I just could not get it up, and I had to adapt. So I came down for a minute, I rested, and I went back up, and I got the last one, but I had to make a change. And the health pace says that we adapt our efforts for the season that we're in and our capacity. Progress includes rest It includes recovery. It includes repair. But that's when growth is happening. When I'm out there working out, it's not while I'm lifting that growth happens. In fact, while I'm lifting, the muscles are strained. There's tension. The muscles, the fibers are being torn. It's during the recovery time that the muscles get built. Strategic intensity says that we push hard, yes, but then we step back and let the gains lock in. We push, right? My son said we lift to failure, push to failure, and then we stop and relax and allow recovery to happen. Progress is measured in capacity and consistency, energy, strength, stability, mood, focus. Nobody wants to be around a mean, irritable person. If that's how you get when you fast, stop fasting. And rest isn't failing, and it's not falling behind. It's an essential part of winning. You see, hustle is a sprint. It's a sprint without a finish line. Health pace is a marathon you can actually finish and enjoy along the way. When you're in hustle mode, your body runs on adrenaline and stress hormones. That works for a short burst. Yeah, let's get going. But it's not designed for months and years. Eventually, it costs you sleep quality. It costs you appetite, cravings. Hormones go down. Everything goes haywire. Inflammation begins to creep up because of the stress, the constant push of the hormones. When you're in a health pace, your body works with you. It's, come on, we got this. Your stress hormones, they cycle down. Your recovery gets deeper. Your metabolism stays flexible. You still get stronger, but you don't sacrifice your foundation in the process. And here's the biggest difference. Hustle makes you reactive, always chasing, always trying to catch up. But health pace makes you protective and proactive. You choose your actions. You choose your rhythm. You choose your rest. That's not laziness. That's leadership of your own body as you play your own game. So your assignment, I want you to find one place this week where you've been hustling. Maybe it's your workout schedule. Maybe it's your fasting routine. Maybe it's just how much you expect from yourself every single day. And I want you to apply the pace. Prioritize, align, create boundaries, and evaluate. Because burnout is not a badge of honor. And the journey isn't about how fast you can go. It's about how far you can actually make it and sustain it. Hustle burns you out. Health pace builds you up and it keeps you there. And that's why we've got to stop. We got to opt out of the hustle. We got to opt out of the hustle. Don't let that be your mantra. We do not want that to be the thing. We're opting out of the hustle and redefining progress that happens with success without burnout. And that is a part of our play your own game. When we play in this sandbox, we're setting ourselves up for the best possibility of success. And that, after all, is what we want and what we need. All right. So we want to, as we are moving through, and let me throw this up really quickly. when we play our own game, right? If you think through the Limitless Living Health Action Plan, it is built into it. Rest and recovery has to be an essential part of that. That's not by accident. It is one of the pivotal pillars of the process. Because often we will concentrate on the walking. And people will send me messages, I'm walking. We're in the strength training and we're on day 96 right now, right? Getting ready to get to the end of the series as we jump into the bridge to mastery and into other things. And yeah, Dr. Woode, I'm lifting now, I'm getting stronger. And we'll talk about fasting. People send me, hey, I'm 72 hours, I'm fasting with you this week. And I'm looking at the things I'm eating. But not many people send me messages to say, hey, I got 8 hours of sleep last night. Or, hey, I took a vacation last week. Right? Because our mindset is still that the other things are more important. But rest and recovery is built into the model, into the plan, on purpose and deliberately. Because we want to make sure that we're doing everything we possibly can do. As you are looking, and let me say this. Let me say this to you. Any of my healthcare colleagues who are watching, I am not saying to you that your A1C is not important. I am not saying to you that the weight is not important. I'm not saying to you blood sugars and blood pressure and cholesterol and all those things. I'm not saying they're not important. What I'm saying to you is how are we going to set you up for success so that you can do this long term? Remember our goal, and you heard me start saying this over the last several weeks. And our goal is to keep you alive as long as possible and keep you as healthy as possible. It is not for you to get a certain A1C. Getting the A1C is a side effect of us becoming healthy. The weight going down is a side effect of us becoming healthy. And so those metrics are important. But let's play our own game. Let's come out of the hustle. And let's work with what we have so that we can achieve those goals, those metrics, and we can keep them going successfully. Because what's the point of getting an A1C today that's 5.6 and then you can't keep that up? Let's work to incorporate that into our lives so that we can be successful long term. Hey, let's think I see some other community members come in. So let's hop over there and let's say hello. Let's see. Where did we stop? Here we are. So Bowie says, my kid is finally back in school and I'm so ready to go back into a good rhythm and routine again. Awesome. I love it. All right. Jennifer says, howdy y'all. What's up, Jennifer? Bowie says, hi, Jennifer. Pam says, hi, Jennifer. Bowie says, I really appreciate this mnemonic. It is very thoughtful on trying to build health that balances the family obligations instead of just hustle in spite of these obligations. Now, I have a story that I was going to tell. I got to ask my wife if I could tell that story, though. If she says yes, you guys will hear that. Bowie says, your story gives me flashbacks from nursing clinic. Yes, it does. She says, hey guys, hey doctor and everyone. Bowie says, hi Teresa. Pam says, hi. Hi Teresa from Pam. Jennifer says, hello Teresa. Hey Pam, Bowie, Jennifer, and Steve. Hello Teresa and Jennifer. Pam says, I normally get more than 8 hours of sleep every night. I love it. So thank you for putting that. Thank you for putting that. So if you're out there, go ahead. When you're sending me your messages about how much you're fasting and how much weight you're lifting and how you're adjusting your weight, your food, also send me messages about what you're doing about your rest. And remember, rest and recovery does not just mean sleeping. right? So it means that, are you taking emotional time to get away? Are you taking time to move away from the hustle and bustle? Are you taking vacations? Are you taking breaks through the day? Remember when we talked about strength and restoration and recovery, we said that throughout your day, you should implement sometimes, maybe 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the middle afternoon, where you come aside and you go, like today, I left my clinical area and I went to my wife's office and I sat there. And sometimes she'll like, what do you need? I say, I don't need anything. I just need to come sit down. Okay? Are you taking the time that you need for all of the things that that has to happen in your life? Well, everyone, that we do is based on our Triple E formula for success. We educate, we empower, and we encourage. We educate with the shows, with the blogs, with the podcasts, all the things that we do here. We empower with the tools that we're learning, the HEAT model, the Limitless Living Health Action Plan, Balance Bites, the COPE model, the HEAT model, and of course now PACE, right? All of these are tools that allows you to implement and use the things that we are learning. We educate, we empower, and we encourage. We encourage with this amazing community that you are a part of, that you are helping to build. If you are tired of the grind, if you're tired of going one step forward, 2 steps back, if you want to implement this and get this installed in your life in a way that is sustainable, join our community. There should be a button down there somewhere that says join. And you want to also look at our accelerator program. The accelerator program is the vehicle, if you will, that we put all of this stuff together in so that we can encourage, support each other as we move along this process to be in this way long term. Not just for today, not just for tomorrow, not just for 90 days, not just for 2 months, but hey, we're trying to keep you alive as long as possible and keep you around and as healthy as possible. So on the website, and I'm going to go over there really quickly. If you go to the website, you'll see here, join the accelerator program, and you can get there and you can learn about the accelerator program, reclaiming your life, rewire your life, stay where you are, right? So choosing the level that matches you and joining us as part of this group. It is an amazing a process that we are on, an amazing journey. So we educate, we empower, and we encourage, and the encouragement comes from the community that you're a part of. I want to say for you, when you do come, you're getting some benefits. You're learning, you're changing, you're growing. Don't keep that to yourself. We pause right there. Remember, Limitless Living says that I'm showing up with my best self, my best health, and my best plans. That is the idea of Limitless Living. But it also encompasses, because I just said Triple E formula for success, educate, empower, encourage, encourages community. So when you get benefit, when your blood sugar improves, when your weight goes down, when your liver is better, when your doctor takes you off of medication, share that with your family. Share that with your friends, with your colleagues, with your church. Anywhere you are, you can be a voice that says, hey, we can be better. We can do better. There are over 1 billion people right now on the planet. 1 billion with a B that have diabetes or pre-diabetes. Right now, at this moment, as we're talking. And you can be a voice that says, hey, there's a different way to do this. Share with them what you're doing. Share the successes. And when you come here, tell us the successes, yes, but also tell us some of the obstacles that you're running into so that we can be a supportive group for you. So I love when people are putting into the comments what they're doing and what's going on in their lives so that we can all begin coming along with each other. And we do that even more in the in our community, in the accelerator program, in the community. Get in there and become a part of this amazing community that we're growing. And now that I've just told you to not get into the hustle, let me say this. On the opposite side of that coin, the name of the program that we just came through, the Limitless Living Health Action Plan. I love the fact that you're listening. I love the fact that you're watching. I love the fact that you are sending me messages and you're sharing this with other people. But what I want to see is how you implement this into your life so that you can be here long term and be healthy. That's my goal. My goal is to keep you around so that you can be there for the grandson or the granddaughter. My goal is to have you around so you can teach your grandson how to fish. You can teach your granddaughter how to woodwork or how to boat or how to ski, whatever it is. So you can watch your son, your daughter graduate from college, walk down the aisle. So you can be there to give your daughter away. My goal is to help you to be around so that now that you guys have worked for so many years, you've put so much time into the job, you've saved and you've scrimped and you've made sacrifices. Now you get to travel, and I want you to be healthy while you do that. So once again, it's not just about the number. It's about having you here long term and having you healthy. I'm always excited when I get to be with you. This week we are continuing, as you see, our Play Your Own Game series with our show tonight. We will do our check-in tomorrow, right around 1-ish. Right, so come join us. You get to see what I eat for the last time as I move into the fast. We have some traveling going on this week, so we may be out of step a little bit. Just bear with us. I'm still trying to fix, because we'll be on the road and I'll have to do a video on the road, but something will be here for you, right? So we will continue that process. We are celebrating on Saturday our 5-year anniversary. 5-year anniversary. So pay attention to what's going to be going on the channel as we move into that. So Saturday is the 5th anniversary of the channel. I am very excited for this, and I'm not going to say that being on YouTube, being on air, going through this process has saved me in so many different ways. But I'm going to tell you, being here has really changed my health. Oh yeah. And so that's a whole story. If you've not heard my story, go on the channel. There's one that says my 25-year quest to reverse my diabetes. Yeah, reversing diabetes, 25 years in the making. Okay, make sure you get out there. But we'll be going through this week. We're starting our fast tomorrow, so we got our check-in, and we'll do on. We'll have some things in place for you this week as we will be out of pocket. But just come on. If you're in the community, make sure you get in there. Join us, because we'd love to see you there. For those of you in the community, you'll get that link in the community group here in just a minute, and we'll see you after the show. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower. Oh, wait. Just one before I do that. I did not say that I welcome you all, whatever platform you're on. So LinkedIn, Twitch, Facebook, and of course here on YouTube. Wherever, what country you're joining us from. I know we've got folks from Korea, New Zealand. Someone from London is watching also. And of course here all over the United States, we've got people from New York, Pennsylvania, the Carolinas, we've got Ohio, we've got of course Georgia, we've got here in Alabama, we've got from Tennessee, we've got some folks in California that's joining us, and we've got somebody from, did I say Ohio already? Yeah, we've got some Nebraska, okay? So we've got folks all around, so welcome you. And if you are joining us because you saw our content in some other platform, at your church, at your doctor's office, in your community center, welcome to you. And a special shout out to 2 groups. One is the Atlanta Berean Church. Thank you for coming through. And then the Riverside Nashville Church. If you are here, thank you for coming through. And thank you guys for taking charge of your health, taking charge of your life. This is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. We're not allowing anything to prevent us from doing what we need to do. We're showing up with our best self, our best health, and our best plans. Now go live a limitless life, and we'll see you in the community. We'll see you as we move through this week. Have a great night, everybody. Bye-bye.